Welcome back to the 2Dumb2Quit podcast with Jeremy McComb. Very talented, god-awful ugly.
Hey, gang, welcome back to the 2Dumb2Quit podcast. I am just back from a hell of a cold and some tour dates out in Texas, so I'm sorry for the delay. We were out down there all through the great state of Texas in the Lone Star State for the last 2.5, 3 weeks, so nice to be back. I hope everyone is doing well. We've been out on the road, and other than the cold, the shows were amazing, and it looks good out there. It looks like things are starting to maybe come around a little bit. A lot of people are out watching shows. A lot of venues opening back up. So very good to see, and I hope you're well. I hope you're doing safe. And, you know, outside of that, the cancel culture thing is still rolling in full force. I was reading some shit this morning about Bill Burr on the Grammys, which I don't watch award shows. I never have. It's not my thing. But I went and I watched it, and I thought it was kind of funny. I thought it was hilarious, actually. And so you've got Bill Burr on the Grammys, and whatever that daytime talk show is, people are talking about shit going on in there. So I wanted to take the podcast down the lane of strong opinions. We've all got them. Everybody's got them. Things we like, things we don't like. We all had that grandpa that you grow up with, or your dad, or somebody in your life who, this is garbage and this is bullshit. And it's just, since the beginning of time, that has been the case. Strong opinions. I think the difference is we didn't have 24-hour news cycles and social media to just continue to shove these things directly in our faces all the time, just constantly. Look at this. Can you believe this person said that? And this person offended these people, and this person is that or this. And, what it comes down to when you look at it is they do it because enraging people sells clicks, giving people anxiety and pissing people off and dividing people is what gets them advertisers. Pissing people off sells advertisers to buy spots on shows that people watch or listen to because they're enraged with this or that. Any of those daytime talk shows like The View or any of that shit, there's half the audience that watches it because they really value what's going on the show, and then you have half of them that hate it, and they watch it because they want to bitch about it later. And so, everyone's enraged with this or that. We don't like it, and we want everyone to know we don't like it. And it's almost a sickness, like taking pleasure in the misery that focusing on something we hate causes us personally. It's like, I used to have this thing that I would do to myself that I called, I'll show me. Oh, this happened bad in my life? I'll make it worse. I'll show me. And that's where indifference takes center stage for me, at least. Shocking, I know. It's a Stoic figure, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca the Younger, and all these Stoics that you hear me talk about incessantly because of the extreme, wonderful, positive changes that Stoic philosophy made in my life. But you don't have to be a Stoic or practicing Stoicism to begin to train yourself to being indifferent to things that make no difference or things that you just don't care about. There was a feature on the Daily Stoic with Ryan Holiday, and it highlighted an incredible Joe Rogan podcast where Malcolm Gladwell asked Joe Rogan what kind of comedy he didn't like or what comedians he didn't like. And Joe Rogan responded that he actually didn't have any, just being indifferent to it. He said, one of the things I've gotten really good at as I've gotten older is not paying any attention to things I don't like. Just letting it slide right out of my brain and onto the floor. I'm not interested. It's just, I spent so much time when I was younger and dumber worrying about things I don't like, being upset at things I don't like. And that sucks. Why do people do that? What is wrong with them? And then I realized, what a gigantic waste of resources that is. Just a huge waste of energy. I don't care anymore. As long as they're not stealing material, as long as they're not, doing something terrible to other comics, victimizing, as long as they're not doing that, I really don't care. If they're doing well, good luck. I love that outlook. It's indifference. And I also found myself going to this indifference of people in my profession. We all do it. People we work with, people we are in offices with, or the gym, or whatever. We're not always going to love who is around us, and that's okay. I found in my job, especially early on, when I was really, struggling and trying to get somewhere, I was jealous of certain people who were doing better than me, feeling like my art was somehow harder earned, or my art was better, and that this garbage on the radio, and why can't I get on there? And, just down that rabbit hole of negativity and comparing myself to other people. And it's just human nature to do that. But I started to realize that the same people that I was comparing myself to were people that created art that wasn't my thing. I was comparing myself to people who are making shit that I'm not into. And why would I want to compare myself to someone who doesn't even inspire me? Why was I wasting so much time hating? And I was never a guy to go on socials or anything hating on people, but it was just thoughts in my own mind, hating on someone to myself that I was finding, instead of finding people who inspired me to be better and work on my art and on what I'm doing and the people that I'm into. Shouting the good, instead of bitching about this or that. I started practicing, examining what I loved about the artist who did inspire me, why it inspired me. And I started writing more, and I started listening more to what I love instead of bitching about what I didn't like. And then I would shout about the shit that I was listening to that was incredible, or comedy that was, pushing the envelope and exciting. Marcus Aurelius said, "We have the power to hold no opinion at all." And that's something I want you to take with you today. We have the opinion, or we have the power to hold no opinion at all, and to not let it upset our state of mind, because things have no natural power to shape our judgments. How refreshing, imagine how fucking refreshing it would be if these political pundit assholes and these news agencies and these cancel culture dipshits just said, Bill Burr on the Grammys wasn't really my thing. I don't really have an opinion on it. It wasn't my deal. It would be a great way to just find middle ground, to find more humility in each of our lives, to admit we don't know everything, and our opinion, to be bluntly honest, our opinions might not fucking matter all that much to people outside of us, and that's okay. It's actually pretty fucking cool that we can find our own things. We can find our own shit that we like. I can have my shit, and you can decide that you like it or you don't like it, and then you can either listen to it or enjoy it or take it in or not. It's awesome. It's our choice. We don't have to be enraged by politicians or the left or the right. We can just agree to not see things in the same light without hating the human. We can look at shit and go, man, I'm not into this. And if there's something that I can do about it, if you don't like the song on the radio, change the channel. But we don't have to be enraged by it. And Rogan finished up that podcast with, you might not like someone's music, but they might go down the road and sell out the Staples Center arena full of 30,000 people rocking out. Well, am I wrong? It's not me. It's not them. It's just you. It's just me, in my opinion. There's dials on the radio. There's a million different people online to listen to or to not listen to. Tune out the shit you don't like and focus on what you do. Don't waste your precious, very limited amount of time on this planet being pissed off. Think about how many people laying in a hospital bed right now dying of cancer, dying of something. You think they give a shit about the small things, being pissed off because this politician said that or this guy? No, it doesn't matter, because in the grand scheme of shit, it doesn't. We have a very limited amount of time here. And if you can find a way to be indifferent to things that make no difference, I talk about that a lot. And I also love the idea that it's okay to not have an opinion on everything. I think that brings your humility out. I think it brings your humanity out. Bring in what you love, accept all of that inspiration, bring it into your life, ignore the rest. Let the shit you hate like Rogan said, hit the floor, slide away. You'll be happier for it. And that is the return of the old 2Dumb2Quit podcast this week. So thank you for joining in. Thank you for sharing it. Listen in next Tuesday. I've got a special guest going to be on the podcast, and you're going to dig it. So make sure you're subscribing. You're sharing the podcast if you're enjoying it with your people. Also, make sure you follow me on Instagram over at Macomb, over on YouTube, official Jeremy Macomb. Hit me up on Spotify if you like my music. If you don't, just move on. Oh, shit. I love doing this show. Thank you guys for listening. I'm sorry for the delay. And again, thank you for the people who have sent me messages. It wasn't COVID. It wasn't anything like that. I had a really shitty cold that knocked me down while we were out on tour. And it always takes me a little longer to recover when we're out on the road. So thank you for listening. Much love, brothers and sisters. Be nice to each other out there and keep shouting the good stuff. And if you're listening to something cool, I want to know about it because I get worn out on the shit that I love because I listen to it incessantly until I move on. A couple recommendations from your old pal Hopalong Macomb here. If you're into documentaries, we watched the Billie Eilish, The World's a Little Blurry. Really, really cool documentary. Even if you're not into Billie Eilish, which, the music is great. It's a great documentary if you love documentaries. Really, really good. The other one is the ZZ Top music documentary. Fantastic. And a new album that's out right now is called Dog Years by The Night Game. If you've never listened to The Night Game, do yourself a favor. If you like synths, if you like an 80s type of modern sound, I don't even know if that fucking makes sense, 80s type of modern sound. It's modern production with 80s flair, I guess, called The Night Game. He's got 2 records, one called The Outfield, the brand new one's called Dog Years. It's incredible. Go listen to it. Go dance your asses off. Shout the good, people, and be indifferent to things that make no difference. Talk to y'all soon.